I guess I'll ask you what I asked Kenny. I mean, your receiving core, especially that four of French, Rara, Aaron, and Tayseer kind of doing the most. Is this as well as they've played for you guys all year, all around what they're doing?
It is. They have, they've found themselves. We've got guys back healthy, and they collectively as a group, they're working really well together with Kenny and with the protection. I mean, the guys have. The passing game is always the one thing that because there's so many aspects of it that are tied into a game in space that you have to get right, and it's a process, and they're playing really well together right now. They're very confident, and that's been their hard work. I'm proud of what they've been able to, that they've stuck to it, and they've worked through their issues.
Difficult is that for them to do that?
It's it's always a process. I've never been any place that that the passing game wasn't a process. I mean, I remember what it was like at Louisville. I didn't know if we were going to be able to complete a pass that first year, and then we lit it up after that. And it's just the group growing together. Everybody talks about the receivers. Well, it's the protection aspect of it also. It's the backs understanding their role in it, not only protection but also getting spotted up, spaced up like a receiver does. So the process is, one that takes some time because there's so many different coverage looks, and every week there's different styles of coverage we see. So it's an adjustment for a group of guys that are gaining experience.
So twice in the last 3 weeks, you guys have cleared 50 points. Did you feel like ever, like earlier in the year or even last year when things were going wrong, that you would ever get to a point where you're just clicking like this?
No, we just, we're take it one week at a time, one day at a time group around here, because we know, there's enough veterans on the staff that understand developing a team takes time, and you put all your pieces together, and it's really fun for us to sit back and look and see what the guys are being able to accomplish, because that's their hard work and that's their grit and stick-to-itiveness and their belief in what we're doing, and the little glimpses early of we can do this and becoming consistent at it. So the kids have done a great job. They really have.
Shawn, this team keeps talking about, especially the offensive guys, keep talking about selflessness, and they don't care who gets the glory, whether that's Darren and Quadri or George blocking or the O-line blocking. I mean, do you feel like that's an aspect of this that has improved from last year that we really don't get to see?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's big. It's good to hear that they're talking about that, because we preach it around here. It's we want to, whatever it takes for us to win as a team. It's about the team. It's not about us individually. It's not about the passing game, the running game. What does it take for us to win in a game? And it's doing it collectively with the defense and collectively with the special teams, and both aspects, offense and defense, obviously involved with special teams, but everybody is bought into what does it take to win, and that's a message that Pat preaches here and does an excellent job of, and our kids believe in it, because they're living it now. You got to get there and you got to live it, and they really believe in that. They understand the value of what that means now, where before it was words. Now they're living it, so it's become really real.
Are Hall and Olsen kind of the standard, the guys you put in?
Yeah. I tell you what, George Aston. I said this to everybody last week. Aaron Matthews is not getting enough credit for what he does. I mean, this is a guy who's underneath the radar screen, as a receiver, does a lot of heavy lifting for us, and that's a great example. George is a great example. And then those two backs, they really don't care who. They're rooting for each other. They're good people.
Speaking of the backs, they're both in the top 40 in the country in rushing. They both have a chance for 1,000 yards. Quadri's already there. Would you say you think that they're the best 1-2 punch in the country?
We were laughing about this today. We honestly don't know what's going on outside our building, because we come in at 6 and we leave at whatever time, 10, whatever it is at night. I just think they're really good. They're great for us, and I'm thankful to have them, because the selflessness they have, and what they bring as value as people and players to our program. For me, they're the best.
Shawn, you've had 3 straight division opponents before this. How does preparation change when you're going up against a team you've never faced and you don't have sort of that head-to-head film to look at from previous years?
Yeah, it's different because we have a reference. I have a reference at least of a couple years. With other opponents like you're speaking of. Having not seen them last year is different for me. It's different for the entire staff. Tim and Sherm on my side of the ball, as well as Andre. They haven't seen them either. So this is like playing an out of conference opponent. So it's different.
When I think of your time as a coordinator, Shawn, I always think of sort of the West Coast offense, your work with the quarterbacks, especially Teddy Bridgewater. And I think of passing. I mean, how different of an experience has it been for you, sort of overseeing this, this kind of ground and pound team that really runs it a lot?
We've lived it before. David Borbley and I have lived it at Colorado. We lived it at Louisville. So we understand what it takes to develop the team. I mean, we're developing. We've got an inexperienced receiver room, even though we have some older guys that need playing time. Then we got some younger guys that are really good, and we got a young quarterback that we think is going to be really good. So. We were able to we were able to lean on one of the strengths of our football team. That's an offensive line who's really come together, gelled together, and the chemistry they've built, and then those two backs and George Aston. So we understand what it takes to build, to build it, and what to lean on, and then how to grow as we go through a season. Because we can't be one-dimensional. We have to present a passing game. And how we can grow those young receivers, which is what we put a lot of time into. And I say young, what I mean by that is the experience in the room.
Obviously, hiring Dave was Pat's call ultimately, but how much were you in his ear about, like, if we bring him in, this is what this run game can be?
We just have an unbelievable chemistry, the two of us. I really believe in him. I know he is a master coach. On the field in terms of fundamentals, and then also in the scheme of the game. We go together. We kind of both understand each other's minds, and it's been big for me, huge for me, and then obviously huge for us.
You expect Wake to stack the box, and what have you seen when you're watching their film?
Everybody plays us different than what we see on film. We're adjusting during games, and we build our plans to in anticipation of things that we feel like we may see, and things that we need to do to counter that. And without giving away the family secrets, that's how we build it. And that's part of the chemistry we just spoke of. And it's I would expect something different than what we're going to see on film. We see it from everybody. The difference, and then our preparation is that we have to prepare for that.
Has Kenny developed at the pace you've wanted or expected him to this season so far?
He's growing. I think that, it's a process. And going through this with so many kids. I mean, it's the true first year of playing. Especially I'm talking about a year. He had a great game against Miami, and that's just like, and everybody had these expectations of. But I was reminded by several people in my life that I really trust as mentors. Hey, this is the year that he'll grow, because he's got to go through all the things that he didn't go through last year in a season. So I love the fact that every day he comes here and he competes in the classroom, he competes on the football field. He really wants to, he's a desire to get better. He's got it. So he's where, honestly, he's where all the kids I've had are in their first year. The ups and downs of the season. And then somewhere along the way, there's this, the light comes on. And it's like, okay, that's what you were talking about, or that's how it happens. And he's had those moments in this season.
His voice seems a little hoarse. Is that just from 10 weeks of marking out checks? Or he does a lot of communicating. He comes off that field, and that's what he sounds like when he comes off, because we do a lot of communicating at the line of scrimmage. He sounds a little hoarse up here.
Anything else for Coach?
So what has Carson added?
Carson, big. Carson's allowed us to have, thump on the edge, and, he's embraced that role. We've been using him as a receiver, which he thinks he's really a pretty gifted athlete now. Asked if he could spat the other day and wear, wristbands and a towel. So he's gravitated to the role. He's been fun. Because, I mentioned Aaron, I mentioned George. He needs to have he's a big reason too. Those 5 guys inside, but man, that edge has got to get set, and he's given us the ability to set the edge. And honestly, we poured some passing game into him, and he's really done a nice job.
We had talked about Kenny's progress, Shawn. How, from your vantage point, how do you feel like he's sort of dealt with the with what the identity of this offense has become, where it's where he's maybe only passing like 11 times a game?
Yeah, we talk about whatever it takes to win. It's about the team. That's the constant message around this building, and it'll never change. You know, there'll be a day, you know, we had to win, you know, in a 2-minute drill. That's where they need to show up. When called upon, they got to be like a, you know, Navy SEAL man. They got to be ready to go. They got to be ready to perform, and whatever that means. And he's bought into the team. They all have. You know, those receivers have done. You know, those breakout runs are because those guys are getting their work done downfield, and you know, a lot of guys, you know, want to catch passes. They've all bought into it in that room, and Aaron Matthews has led the charge because they see how much fun he's having and how he impacts the game. So they want to have the same impact, the same value to our team, and team wins.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, Sean.